Welcome, all you beautiful souls, to your weekly energy update, and this is for the week of June 19th through June 26th. This week we have a big, of course, occurrence here with the summer and winter solstice coming on June 21st, so happy solstice to everyone. Of course, we have summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, the winter solstice starting in the southern hemisphere. It also means we're triggering the beginning of Cancer sign season, so happy birthday to all you Cancer sign sun babies. And both for the solstice, for the solstice, I actually have put out separate individual readings for each zodiac sign, which I will have listed at the end of the video in the playlist, and I'll also throw it down in the description box below. We also, of course, because Cancer season is starting with the all the Cancer signs for the sun sign, I also put out a special pick a card reading for that, which will also be linked in a playlist at the end of this video and also in the description box below. So wonderful energies coming in, a lot of transformation with the Cancer sign being ruled by the moon. There is a lot of this mother type of feeling, this nurturing energy that's coming in. And the summer winter solstice is quite a bit around growth and like endings as well. Because, we moved from spring into summer, things started to grow in spring. Summer is all about the growth period where we have a large amount of growth. In the southern hemisphere, of course, with the winter solstice, we just moved from harvest, fall, autumn season into hibernation, into those things that, winter time represent as well. So for this reading, we're going to be looking at that mother energy. We all have, mother energy, mother personalities that are in our life, or just motherhood in general, regardless of how we identify. We all have that mother, nurturing, divine, feminine energy within us, regardless of what gender or how we identify, right? So we're going to be asking for this reading around motherhood. What about our relationships with that mother energy and motherhood? Are we ready, or can we transform? Can we grow through? And what can we possibly put to rest? So I do have, of course, a reading for each individual zodiac sign, and I'm jumping into yours right now. Right, Libras, this is your weekly energy update, and we're going to start off by pulling a card here from the Into the Lonely Woods deck. Now, any of the cards I use in a reading, I do put in the description box below. So I'll give these a good shuffle. All right, so for our Libras, what would you like them to know about their mother energies? All right. We got card number 25. With the full expression of this life comes the knowledge that death walks among us. Within every breath and every step dwells the mortality so many fear. Do not deny this ending. Honor those who have left this life with ceremony, ritual, respect. Acknowledge that they are no longer here in the same way, for there will be many deaths in your life. Learn to live with this truth so that death is not a fearful enemy, but a gateway to another life. You have been so many forms. Before we can become again, we must pass through death's gateway and let our souls wander free for a time. We can then wisely choose what comes next on the path of the soul. So that is very much focusing in on death walking among us, but let's see what else they want to add here. We're going to use these ancestral path tarot and just see what else that Spirit would like you to know. All right. So for our Libras, what else would you like us to know? My goodness. These are full of energy. They're all wanting to fly out here. Okay, they do want these two. And that's all that they said. They just want the two. And so you've, oh my gosh. So you have the death card here. So I guess this really is, but this death card also is about death and rebirth and new beginnings as well. So definitely there are these messages coming in around the fear of death and the pain that is triggered by that. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, the Three of Swords. Three of Swords is the expectations card. Swords are like your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindset, your attitudes, your expectations. Normally, you would see the Three of Swords as this huge heart with three swords stuck in it, which represents the disappointment and the pain that we feel from the, the things that are supposed to make us feel happy disappointing us. But there are also these expectations that say that when something happens, this is how you're supposed to feel about it. This is what you're supposed to think about it as well, the story that gets applied. And we all have popular opinions on what something is supposed to mean, especially death around us, right? One of the big human experiences is we fear being rejected, but we also fear death because it's the unknown. We haven't had anyone bring back home movies from the other side. We have people that bring back stories from near-death experiences, which does help. But, our little mind wants actual, proof that we can feel confident in that what's on the other side when we go. And really, the journey of that is by spending time getting to know the Creator, or the Mother and Father of all things, God, whatever you believe in on the other side. You might even just say, you know what, I'm just going to ask. I'm not even going to put a personality or any restrictions around this creative force that you can either believe exists or don't. But I always have experienced such wonderful things when we reach out and to say, you know what, I'm not going to say that you don't exist, but I would like you to show me that you do. Show me things, bring me messages, let me see it, to where I have experiences that happen that make me, me personally believe. And, we can never force. I've had tons of experiences and I share them in my books and my different videos and different things like that. And I say, I don't expect you just to take my word for it. I was a skeptical person, or I just liked to know things myself rather than someone just tell me, this is what this means, this is who this person is, or this thing. And I'm like, I'll get to know myself. I want to look at it myself. And because, I've had experiences where before I went down to a church in another city 2-3 hours away, I had prayed one night to the Creator and said, with where I was in my life, I was begging Him for forgiveness for something that later I didn't need to ask forgiveness for, but the Creator was, listening to me, and I asked Him that and to show me His will for my life and some other things. And then I went down, and I wasn't even planning on going to church. I went down to visit a friend, and they were like, hey, we're going to go to this church on Wednesday night. You want to go with us? I'm like, sure. And they go, we just want to, forewarn you, it's Pentecostal. And they're like, so there's like speaking in tongues and Holy Spirit stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's what I grew up in, at least from 13, up to that point. And I'm like, so yeah, it's not a big deal at all. And so we went there, and they had a great service. It was all about love, which I thought was pretty cool. And then they were doing the closing, worship songs and stuff. And in Pentecostal churches, they call it the Holy Spirit falls on like the individuals. Usually it's the pastor, where he just starts speaking in this foreign tongue, and then a message from God comes through in that. It's usually for the congregation. And so we all bow our heads, and we're all, in reverence, waiting for the message to come through. And then he goes, what's the name of that young man in the corner? And I'm like, I wonder who he's talking about. I look up, he's looking right at me. Now, granted, I'm on a pew filled with a friend of mine and her brothers and sisters and their girlfriends and boyfriends and her mom and dad. And the mom goes, his name's, Dennis, which is my name back then. I go by Denny or Brenda Zen, of course, now. But he says, God has heard your, or God has a message for you. And the message that came through was God said, I've heard your prayers. I have forgiven you. I will show you my will for your life. Just continue following after me. And some other things that he answered word for word in order that I had prayed silently in my room 3 hours away, and went to this church where I knew nobody and never met this pastor. And here, out of that came. Now, that's the kind of thing that can happen. And that has proven to me, I'm like, no one can ever tell me Creator doesn't exist, the other side doesn't exist. And that's just one little thing out of all this other stuff that's happened over the last 30 plus years since then. But ask for things and you will get confirmation. Trust me. And I always, people are like, oh, wow, I don't know if that something like that would ever happen to me. And I'm like, you may not need to have that to happen to you. I was just very hard of hearing, and so sometimes he has to use a bullhorn to talk to me, or a pastor in front of hundreds of people in a church talking to me, right? And you're like, holy cow. So all of that to say, reach out, get to know the Creator, that force on the other side. They will reveal themselves to you. You take one step towards the Creator, he takes 10 steps towards you, and those are big honking steps. So we'll see. We're going to use these everyday tarot and just see what else they'd like to add on to that. Thanks for your patience with that story. They definitely wanted to mention that. And let's see what else. All right. So what else for our Libras, please? What else do you want them to know about all this here? Okay, they do want to that one. What else? Okay, they do want that one. Okay, they said they want to start with these three, so we will. We have the King of Swords. Swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, your attitudes. And the Ace of Swords here is a mighty gift that the King of Swords brings, because this is all about the mind, but the Ace of Swords allows you to connect to the higher realms and connect to the capital T truths that are rooted in the unconditional love of the other side. It also gives you the ability to slice away the small T truths, these Three of Swords, these expectations, and it allows you to cut away those thoughts and those beliefs that no longer serve you around that. So you can see how he has his hand extended here. And so he basically, it's about having an open mind and allowing new thoughts, new ways to come in as you release and let old ways of thinking go. So I'm going to put the swords above the swords here. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, and then you have the Hanged Man. Hanged Man is about seeing things from a different perspective, from a higher perspective. So where this is about connecting with the capital T truths of the higher realm, you have looking at things from a different perspective, allowing yourself to see it in a different way, which I kind of want to put over here, looking at death in a different way, this death and this rebirth, seeing things in a whole new manner. And then you have the Page of Wands. Wands is your drive, your ambition, your inspiration, your energy, your spiritual energy. And the Page of Wands does represent new energies coming in, new spiritual energy. Pages also, though, were those, little, usually the youth that went around from village to village with "Hear ye," and had the announcements from, the castle where the king and royalty were, and spread all the messages out. And so these do represent messages from spirit coming in for you as well. So with all this mention of death and with people passing to the other side, just know that you have a whole slew of beings of unconditional love and light on the other side that want to communicate with you, that will communicate with you. It's just about opening up And raising your vibration from one of fear, this Three of Swords is like the fear of losing conditional love and the chaos of everything that goes on in the human world. It's very noisy. And when we raise our vibration to that of the higher realms, which is unconditional love and joy and laughter and peace, that's the frequency at which spirit speaks. And when we purposely get away, get quiet, get away from the chaos and raise our vibration to that, that's when we hear from, more clearly from the other side. They always can hear us, but for us to hear them, that is what we can do with that. They also want me to let you know that when they pass, when we move out of our bodies, okay, now I understand why they want to say that, because with the fear of death, I've actually had several people come through readings and for me to communicate to other people. And the things they communicate are so beautiful because, like someone asked me if their husband had passed, does he care about the urn that I got? And he was like, no. He go, when they leave and pull out of their body and become completely spirit again, in that instant, we understand and connect to our higher spiritual self. We know how our thread of this life fit into the huge tapestry of all the other threads of everyone else's lives that we came across in this huge tapestry of this human experience. We understand every decision we made, why things happened to us, just our entire life, we're able just in a moment understand and grasp it all. And that alone is amazing. Then they said that they're able, for all their loved ones, also to understand every emotion, every thought, everything that your loved one experienced all the way back to when they were in the womb as well, and your future. But they like always say we don't want to spoil the surprise, so they don't talk about future a whole lot. But they are talking about how they understand why you made the decisions you did, every thought, every emotion, everything that happened in your life. And they're in awe of all their loved ones for everything that they went through. They could never grasp it in the human form, but when they connect back to our powerful supernatural selves, we're able to understand it and see every one of our loved ones. And then, if that wasn't cool enough, they share that because some people, is like a family of 5 people, and they're like, is he with us? And he's like, oh yeah, he's with every single one of us, every single one of our loved ones. We're able to be next to them 100% of the time, giving 100% of our love, but you can be in all places all at once and be giving your complete love and attention all at once. That's how powerful and supernatural we are. And there's all this beautiful communication that comes through. So if you do fear death, hopefully that gives you a little bit of glint of a little more love around transformation and about the transition that we make. But I really encourage you to look into videos on YouTube and different places of near-death experiences and just listen to experiences people had. And it really just takes away a lot of the fear of death, and that, the place that we go to is a beautiful place of unconditional love and light. There is no hell, there is no judgment. That's a fear-based thing of humankind and mankind. The Creator's love for us is unconditional. There's not one condition. What kind of an abusive parent would it be where if you have something like, well, you didn't do it and you're being thrown into the cellar? That's an abusive parent. That's not who the Creator is. Get to know the Creator and you will have a completely different viewpoint of everything. All right, so they do want me to pull a few more cards here. So what else do you have to say here? Okay, they do want these 3. 4. Okay. Yeah, okay. So they did want to show you, this is that 3 of swords here. That pain, that is of fear and of the human experience. We do not feel this on the other side. So I love that. You have the 8 of Wands, which this is another card, like the Page of Wands here, that is all about quick communication coming in from the spirit world. So they definitely are reiterating here that you are going to be getting messages from all over the place if you'll just ask them. They don't mess with your free will. So they will never force themselves on us and appear out of nowhere and, tell us blah, 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 or do anything. They respect our free will, but if of your own free will you ask them to communicate with you, they definitely will. And again, Queen of Cups. So you have this beautiful, she holds the Ace of Cups here, which is the chalice, the Holy Grail. That is full of the unconditional love of the Creator of all things. And the queens, in addition to their own element, which Cups is water energy, in addition to their own suit, they also carry water. So she's double water, double intuition, really connecting to the spirit realm. And so this is a huge invitation to reach out and get out of your mind. I know I'm also an air sign, sun sign. And so I know getting out of our minds is sometimes a challenging thing. This is like the King of Swords. This represents all of our air mental energy. This is balancing in tune with our intuition, our gut, our spiritual side. And then your final card is the Ace of Cups. So this represents the beautiful, unconditional love that the Creator of all things and the entire posse of support and beings back home, they love us so much. This is Spirit bringing the love, filling you up, and so much love that it actually overflows out to the world. So this is the gift of unconditional love that is coming your way. And I love this for you. Beautiful. Definitely a different reading from the rest of the ones I've done for this week. But we're also going to pull from Divine Directions deck here and see what else Creator and Spirit would like you to know for all our Libras for this week. Okay. Anything else? Last pass. Okay, nope. That's all they wanted out of that one. And I will read this one before I pull from the next one. You have Passion. It says, passion isn't confined to sexual energy. Life is meant to be felt. Don't hold back. Yeah. So, getting out of our minds and into our hearts, feel the feels, allow ourselves to feel all those emotions. And then we'll also pull from this Sweet Dreams deck here. And what's your final messages here for our Libras, please? Okay, come out to those two. Any others? Last pass. Oh, that's it. So you've got intuition, like we were talking about. It says, through my subconscious, I trust my inner wisdom and intuition. So this Queen of Cups, definitely trusting your gut, trusting your intuition, using your spiritual side, get out of our minds and into our hearts. And then you have Flow. That is, I now open myself to inspiration and watch creativity flow through my life. And I like that. I feel like this is opening to the messages, definitely opening up to the messages that the Creator and all of your spirit and of your guardian angel, your angels, your spirit guides, your loved ones who are on the other side, your ancestors. There's a whole slew of beings of unconditional love and light that definitely want to communicate with you. You know, this message here about death and transformation and rebirth does represent a huge amount of people on the other side of the veil that are wanting to speak with you and communicate with you. But this also is about a rebirth that is happening here, moving from all these expectations and all this pain that you had into this wonderful place of unconditional love for your life as well. So I'm loving this for you. If you are looking for even more messages of love from above, in addition to these weekly energy updates, I also put out monthly readings for each zodiac sign. And as I mentioned, like the solstice reading, the Cancer season reading, all that'll be listed in playlist at the end of the video here. But if you do want to be notified whenever any of these new videos come out, if you give this video a little thumbs up and click the like button, also click the subscribe button, and that gives you access to the notification bell. And when you go in there, if you select the all option, then you'll be notified of any new videos that come out on the channel. Also, doing those things helps spread the love, because when you like a video, you share a video, you comment on a video, or you subscribe to a channel, doing those things makes the YouTube algorithm so giddy excited it wants to share the videos of the channel with other people as well. So if you feel inspired to do any of those things, I am very grateful for that. Also, these are general readings, and if you're looking for even more specific information for your specific life, I do offer personal readings, and all that information is listed in the description box below. All right, all you beautiful Libras, as you go through this amazing week, please know every second of every day of your life that you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things. And of course, I love you too. Have an amazing week. I don't know sure how you can't with all this. But in the meantime, you hang in there and you take care.